Alright, what's up guys? Today I'll be talking about troubleshooting a snowmobile, especially an old snowmobile like this one. It's 1997 Ski-Doo Grand Touring Rotax 583, and to tell you the truth, around here, well, snow is just around the corner. It's November 2nd, 2014, so we're expecting about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow today, so we're gonna get this thing ready. Guess what? I bought this machine for $200. The person said, oh, there must be a bad ground, so I don't feel like fucking around with it to find out where the problem is. But hey, I'm not a mechanic, but I'm a hands-on type of guy, so I kind of figured out the problem myself, and it was nothing electrical. So let's go to the basics. To start a snowmobile, you need fire, you need air, and you need gas. But let's start with where it starts, okay? So where you need to start is to make sure that the kill switch is on. And if you've got a teeter switch like me, well, you got to make sure that's hooked up also, or you're not going to be getting any spark. This little cap right here, you got to make sure it's properly pushed in, and the key always has to be on. But right now, I'm going to show you a couple of steps that you guys can take when you want to make sure that this thing will start. So, let's move from here to here. So of course, you need fire. And to have fire, you need spark plugs. And you got to make sure the spark plugs give enough spark. So if you're not sure, if you're new to this, change these. Make sure you take the codes, like this is BR9ES. You go to your local snowmobile shop or part shop or whatever, you buy 2 of these, brand new. Make sure that you got the best spark. So you take those away and you screw the brand new ones. And before you start putting them back in the hole, leave them on this. Just don't spark them. Don't twist them in the motor just yet. Leave them in here. And what you're going to do is take a buddy, or if you're alone, what you want to do is you put your caps, your spark plugs, and you leave them grounded on the motor right here, not in the hole, in the motor, so you can see that it's sparking at the bottom. It's making an arc. Alright? So I don't have any spare spark plugs with me, but anyways, you know what I'm saying. And if you got an electric starter, well, you see, if there's a spark at the bottom of this thing, it's like arcing on both, well, you got fire. So now, you can screw them back in. That means that everything around here is okay. And the carbs, make sure they're clean. Always use fresh gas when you're talking about carburetors. And if that was my problem with this sled, the person had, this is the fuel mixture screw, was completely sticking out, so making it too rich, so it wasn't starting. So I said to myself, well, the first thing I got to do is screw it back in. I don't know if you can see it right here where my finger is. Anyways, there's like a fuel mixture screw right here. So I screwed that in, that one also. And I went over there and I gave it a yank and it started right away. So, but first I washed them. I always wash these before I start my snowmobiling season. And I always use fresh gas. So whatever gas is in here, and you didn't seafoam it or anything, and you just started from next season, you use the gas that was in the previous season, well, it's probably not going to start because it gunks up real bad. Alright, so just wash these carburetors, okay? And use fresh gas all the time when you put them back in. And make sure this thing is washed also. This is the air box. So let's go back to the basics. Fire, gas, and air. That's the 3 things you need to start a snowmobile, okay? And you also need compression. So let's go back to my tools right here, okay? This is a compression tester. So this snowmobile, for a good start, needs about 120 to 130. So 130 is best. So what you do, if you can borrow one from a buddy, or just buy one from a car parts store, have these, and you got different types of adapters. This one is my adapter for my snowmobile. So you screw this in where the plugs are. Don't have to give it you don't have to use a wrench or whatever to put it in here. Just by hand, as most tight as you can. And you put your tester on it, and you ask a friend to crank it up, and you hold the gas, and you always have to have the gas full throttle, and then you'll crank and crank and crank until this needle right here stops moving. But if you're alone, you take a tie wraps, you jam it right there, you put a tie wraps around it, and you leave it there, and then you crank and crank and crank. You have to do that with both cylinders, with both plugs taken out. Okay, so you do them one at a time. So if you see you got 120 and 130 about compression, well, that's excellent. Okay, so that's what you need to start the motor, is compression. Alright, so if it doesn't start, sometimes you got to prime it. I put a bit of 2-stroke oil and gas, and I just spray it. And then I put back the spark plugs back in the holes. Then I come back here and I crank it. Of course, you got to put back the spark plug. If you got an electric starter, well, you start it with an electric starter. Make sure that your battery is fully charged. Okay. All right. And every time I put my snowmobile away, I put Seafoam in the gas tank. I just do a little dribble in the tank, just to make sure that it stabilizes, and at the same time it de-ices the gas. Okay, so it won't put water in your tank, and that'll keep it from starting. So just always add a little Seafoam. That's what I use. Or you can get some type of a de-icer you put in your gas tank, and that's it. So I want to see, because I got the snowmobile like 2 weeks ago, and I figured out my problem about a week ago, because it wasn't starting, and I didn't understand why the guy said that it was going good last year, and this year when he was about to start it, he says, man, it doesn't start, it must be a bad ground, and keep pulling the cord and trying my electric starter and nothing happens. Alright, so let's see if it'll work. So like I said, this thing right here is up, kill switch is on, my heater switch is on. So now I don't got choke, so I gotta prime it. 1, 2, and 3. So let's see what happens. Needs a bit more gas, I guess. Guys, so I hope I could have helped you. That's the best I could do for troubleshooting a snowmobile, finding the problem out, and get your snowmobile started. So you guys gotta have a good 2014 sled season. But we're just waiting for the snow. All right. See you guys later.